Processes have started. So as we speak, 63 of those sites have been cleared and are ready. There's a whole list. I believe that the Ministry of Information will furnish you with all the additional details. The contractors, the plan is to pay them some mobilization. So 10% of their contract sums will be paid as advance mobilization. 138 of those have been paid. They are mobilizing to sites. Some have actually started work on sites. I have a list of at least 10 sites that work has actually started, and quite a bit of work is going on. I'll touch on the psychiatric hospitals because I think the gentleman raised the issue. There are 2 psychiatric hospitals as part of the program in the Middle Belt and the Northern Belt. All the technical details have been completed, the drawings. We had to do soil tests for all the 92 sites that have been identified. We had to do geotechnical investigation, soil test, and also the topography. We had to send surveyors to all these sites to go and survey the sites and establish the topography and so on. So that has all been done. So work will be commencing very soon on the psychiatric hospitals. Also on the regional hospitals, we went through a tender process. The contractors have submitted their tender. It's being evaluated as we speak. And following from that, it will go through a value for money process, and all the commercial arrangements will go through Parliament and so on. Same applies to the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. So that's where we are. We believe that hopefully by the end of March, we'll have at least 67 of these sites that are working on the Agenda 101, the district hospitals. We'll have at least 67 by the end of March that are working. Each hospital has a completion time of about 18 months. So, and 18 months is from when the project starts for a particular location. So it's a staggered commencement and to be a staggered completion program as well.
Well, so that's the head of health infrastructure, the office of the chief of staff, supervising the implementation of Agenda 111. Now, Raymond, we know that we made a request concerning Agenda 111. What were we looking for?
So specifically, because we had been told that this project was underway and we'd be giving updates, let's not forget the minister had on different occasions told us that 35% of the work was done and that some other progress had been made. To be fair, he also had identified in previous times difficulty in accessing land, especially in the districts within the capital, to be able to commence the project. So you heard the gentleman who just spoke talk about 41 of those areas. They have difficulties with accessing the land, regardless of the fact that they had identified the area and the places they want to put some of these. So we went to them with a simple request for some information. So we wrote for copies of the policy or policies underpinning the project. Why is this important? The belief is that such a mammoth program will certainly have some policies underpinning it, be it our quest to bring health service delivery closer to the people or to improve health infrastructure, be it from our quest to attain the SDGs by making sure people access health service and improve their lifespan and also get proper health care. So those are the things we are asking that they could provide us. That is the ministry. So we wrote pursuant to Section 18 of the RTI Act 983. Now, we asked for copies of the policy. We also asked for detailed project proposals, including feasibility studies and funding sources that have been secured. Because we saw that the Ministry of Health itself had put up on their website $100 million secured for Agenda 111. We wanted to know, where is this money coming from? Is it the only amount of money we are going to use for the project? Is it a loan? Is it a grant? What exactly does this entail from official sources? That's what we asked the ministry, mindful of what they have put up on their website. The other point we also sought to find out from them is a list of all the districts where projects will be cited. And because right from the beginning, there was an indication that there are about 216 districts in this country today. There was an indication that across the country, we are looking at the district that do not have health facilities, the district hospitals. So we are going to bridge that gap, and we are doing it as a goal. So we wanted to know which. So if you come to, let's say, let me take a district. Districts like Ayawaso. Ayawaso has so many areas within it. Where in Ayawaso are you likely to cite this so that we can monitor and see where the project is and probably track progress, really? So that's why we asked that particular question. This is also because one of the areas where this project was to be was where we launched it, Trede, in the Ashanti region.
Yes.
Yes, so that was one of the places that we were supposed to have these projects, and we were told that across the country there'll be a lot more. Now, the fourth question we asked was a detailed plan for commencement and completion of each of the projects. Our presumption was that we had the plan in place, a plan that stipulates that, of course, we're told within 18 months. This is on the background that the first promise to build these hospitals did not materialize. Let's not get it wrong.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? From 2020, we didn't do anything. 2021 is when we actually went to Katsal and start proper work on it. So, in fairness, we needed to know what are the specific timelines. When are you starting this? When are you likely to complete it? Because there's a key question you should have in mind. Now, is it the same hospital we are building for? The presumption was that it's going to be the same hospital across the country, but is it the same hospital we are building for those in like heavily dense areas with high population, like let's say Accra or Kokomlemle? Is it the same one we are building, let's say, in somewhere like Funsi, Wa West, or anywhere in the upper whatever periods of this country, the upper regions of this country? Is it the same hospital? Is it the same capacity? Is it the same style and design? That indication is what we wanted. But we understand along the line, of course, we got some information that suggests that they are bringing it two types. The ones with the larger capacity for the densely populated areas, and the ones with the smaller capacity for some other areas with a smaller population.
Clarify
that we didn't know. Yeah.
Did that information come in response to your
No,
request,
no, not at all.
Okay.
It is, you see, some of these questions were directly from what the minister has stated publicly, that we needed to glean and get properly documented information from, so that we can take it out from there. Now, one more question we sought to find out was a detailed plan for staffing and operation of each of the hospitals.
Okay.
There are so many times we've had this issue happen, right? Where we say we're building a hospital. There's one, say Asawama or one of the areas. We finished with the hospital, even UGMC. Then we're not looking for staff. We're not saying that, no, we don't have enough people to be there. We don't have the qualified people to even manage some of the sections and the machines involved. So we just wanted to know whether that plan is also part of the plan, whether we have thought about it right from the beginning and perceived of a system where we are training. So we are going to 18 months. We know that there are people already in school today, in nursing schools. Will we have enough of the nurses to man these places? Do you have enough doctors for the other hospitals you are cutting across the country?
Okay.
Let's not forget, 101 more health facilities is big.
So, Raymond, these are the questions we asked.
We asked them.
What were the answers we provided? Starting from, the policy underpinning the project.
No, to be fair, the only answer we got from the ministry in the letter to us is that, okay, so I'm reading the letter. I said, this is about your letter dated February 11, 2022 on the subject, request for information about government's Agenda 111 projects. Per our records, we do not have the information in our custody. Thank you. Kwabena Boadu Oku Afare. He is chief director and he wrote for the minister. This letter is copied to the Honorable Minister of Health, the Honorable Deputy Ministers of Health, the Information Officer of the Ministry of Health, and the RTI Commission. So all that they told us is that per their records, they don't have the information in their custody. Now, in all fairness, we have also known that there have been several references to an implementation committee, which is headquartered at the Office of the President. The interesting part with that conversation is that when the minority first raised that question about a team of experts working on this at the Office of the President, that was dismissed by the MPP. I think Boabin Asamoah spoke officially on behalf of the MPP at the press conference and said there's no such team. In fact, he went ahead to say that, however, at the Ministry of Health is where the people are managing this project. That was Boabin Asamoah's response. So we felt, okay, then let's go to them. We'll send another letter to the Office of the President, though, but let's go to the ministry that's superintending health policy in this country and delivering health goals of the government to find this information from them. But they said they didn't have it in their records, and they didn't have that. What made it interesting was that some of the things, and I did mention that, the minister had in various platforms mentioned them. Progress, for example, he had talked about 35%. Barely 2 months ago was the status of the project, 35%. And he mentioned some detail about preparatory work being finished and how they are struggling to get the other lands ready.
Yeah.
This information was all from the health minister.
Yes, he himself, he spoke about it, gave details of it.
Who the chief director wrote, on whose behalf
yes.
The chief director wrote, to tell
indicate
us that they do not have
the records. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, he had also spoken before to GTV and giving some more detail about the 101 and where we are going with it and why the other, the 111, the rest are specialized, like the Accra Psychiatric Hospital and also regional hospitals. I hope you get the point. So he had given more information, spoken authoritatively, specific government platforms that suggested that asking him for an update would not be a problem. But alas,
response
the response is that
they do not have that information in their custody.
The indication, you see, ideally, would have expected that when you write to the commission, in fact, it is an information officer that responds. That information officer gives me a response. Then I can now say, what you're telling me, I don't think it's enough information, or I do not think you have responded appropriately. Let me now petition the minister to give you the information. Now that it is still that I write it on behalf of the minister, can I still petition the minister?
No.
So that's the difficulty, because they put in steps so that within the same ministry or within the same structure. Secondly, Section 20 is fairly detailed about how to treat it if you don't have the information. That's the other problem with their response. It talks about, one, if you're not the right source, you can look for the right source. You can transfer or refer. In any case, you can refer to the right institution and say that they're asking for this information if you're related and you know that that's the right institution. They're asking for this information. At all times, the minister has stated categorically and had indicated that he knew where the right information could have been found if indeed he was not the right source. For example, like the reference he had made in his press briefing. But the statement did not say that we had referred your letter to, let's say, an office in the office of the president, and they will deal with your and give you the answers. Or we have gotten them to give us this information and we are forwarding them to you. Or reference our earlier statements on this, which suggested that this is where the information should be, or that should be the case. So that was a small anomaly too there on their side in the response to this particular one.
You know, the Yabo Abinga Samoa statement that you make reference to. So if you go to, there's a story that was carried on my Joy Online on the 20th of August 2021. It says the ruling New Patriotic Party has dismissed claims by the opposition NDC that there's a team of coordinators at the presidency overseeing the execution of Agenda 111 instead of the health ministry. Now, speaking at a press conference, NPP's Director of Communications stated that a team of highly qualified consultants, not based at the presidency, have been working with the health ministry to ensure the vision of the project is accurately executed. Now, the consultants, Yabo Abinga Samoa explained, consist of Ghanaians who advise and manage the project on behalf of the government. And there's a quote here. This is to ensure the project is giving the needed attention required to succeed owing to the scope and complexity of the program, which has already burdened the Ministry of Health. Could not have accommodated effectively. However, the Ministry of Health is directly involved and has been involved from the beginning in meetings where the project structure and organogram were discussed and agreed.
Okay, let's do a little bit of analysis. We have a few minutes left. So what is becoming apparent is that the health ministry does not have custody of the information to do with Agenda 111. That's what they are telling us in the letter. They don't have the information. The health minister himself has made reference to a committee under the supervision of the chief of staff. This is also on record.
A committee is supposed to be part of.
Well, I'm not even going that far. I'm just following the structure of what we can safely point our finger at. So we can safely say that there is a committee under the supervision of the chief of staff sitting at the presidency, which is managing Agenda 111. That's what the health minister has said. The health minister has also said that the health ministry does not have custody of information on Agenda 111. So I have a question. What is the effect of such a huge health-based project requiring lots and lots of funding? What is the effect of that project not being in the custody of the health ministry, but rather in the custody of the presidency? What is the effect of it when it comes to accountability, for example? Because as you know, the executive is to be checked by parliament. Parliament, where today we have a hung, we have numbers that give us a hung parliament. So if the institution running such a big project does not fall under any ministry, if parliament wants to check it, how do they go about it?
Who would they hold to parliament?
Yeah, who would they call? Parliament can't call the chief of staff. So who would they call? How does Ghana account for what is happening under Agenda 111 if it is not under a ministry, but is being run by a committee managed or supervised or chaired by the chief of staff? How do we account for what happens there? I guess the answer is not to be found in this studio.
Certainly, yeah, you're asking the quiet. How are we able to? Yeah.
So let's.
I thought it was a rhetorical question.
Well, but of course, if there was an answer, we would have shared it. Or if there was even a suggestion of an answer, we would have shared it. So maybe we need to start asking ourselves, why is the structure so obtuse? Why is it that we can't quite point a finger at where this project is being managed?
Yeah. So when it becomes, when you need information on the finances, for instance, you can get the finance minister to release, to indicate releases to whichever agency that is expected to implement it. So he can tell you, for instance, this amount of money has been released, that amount of money has been released. So with the finances, you can actually get the finance minister
Can he
to
tell us what it was spent on, the progress of each project?
Like I
Can
stated,
he give us that information?
with the finances.
Thank you. But the question I'm
can
asking is also about finances. Yeah. What has it been spent on? Right? How much has it been spent on? Did we get value for money? Those are questions about finances that the finance minister will not be able to give us answers to. Besides, finance is not the only thing for which they must account. They must also tell us the progress of these projects. How soon will Ghanaians be able to benefit from these projects? Where are they being built? Which Ghanaians will benefit? Who will man them? All the questions that we had in our right to information request. Those are questions to which the answers, will give Parliament something to have oversight on. It will give Ghanaians something to seek accountability on. But if there is nobody who reports to Parliament who can give these answers, then we've created a certain lacuna, haven't we? We've created a certain loophole, haven't we? Was that deliberate? That is a rhetorical question. Stay with us.
Coffee in your cup. Enjoy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best. On Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
It's the Super Morning Show on Joy. Coming up.
I was imprisoned. Even if I'm to come out, only the hall and kitchen around. He forcibly slept with me. I was even crying when he slept with me. I just felt like killing myself.
In partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM, Roverman Productions present Take Me to the Moon.